Hi, everyone. So, this week we are going to be talking about chapter 3, which is how to carry out market and competitor analysis. So, this is a really informative chapter. It's also another short chapter. You're welcome. And it's just going to be very detailed about your competitors. This chapter is going to distinguish competitor analysis and benchmarking success factors. This is very important when you're a digital marketer, especially in an online environment where everything's changing so quickly in your market and your competitors. Understanding detailed competitor research and being able to create a competitor analysis template. So let's go ahead and dive into the first one. Albert Einstein, a physicist, said insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. I thought this was a good quote to include in this PowerPoint because if you do the same thing over and over and over, your business is going to grow stale and it's never going to get any better as your competitors advance because they're trying something different. So he's saying do something different to get the results you're looking for and don't do the same thing and expect the same result or a different result. So, measuring success against competitors. The first thing you need to do is keep ahead of competitors' plans and their products or services. So, depending on what market you're in, you have to know how your products and services compete with these people. Making sure that your technology comes out first or your technology is better, your products and services are more advanced. If they have a huge plan, how can you compete with this plan? Is it a seasonal thing? Is it a big sale that they're contributing to? So you just have to make sure you're always ahead of the game. You have to look at the good, the bad, and the ugly elements of a competitor. Just because they're really bad at something, you need to make sure you're not either. And they also might perform better in a specific area. You need to understand what area they're doing better in, just so you can improve your technology or your product or services. You do not need to neglect to include smaller and newer companies. This is important. Just because they're small doesn't mean that they can't do damage if you're a big company. Amazon's a huge company, but they might have competitors like niche markets that are specialized for local people that they might be overlooking because they're small, or maybe a new company. There's so many digital marketing firms starting up all the time. And maybe that's something that you want to do in the future. And maybe the big firms that already exist in a digital marketing facility may overlook your company because you might be a new company. So that's something that you might have an edge up as their competitor. But what are they doing that you might be overlooking? So little things like this that you need to think about. You need to remember that digital marketing has no monopoly. So the new kid on the street can be the best one. It doesn't necessarily have to be, but he or she could just roll into town and take all of the competition and all of the consumers, and then the next day somebody else is. So it's never controlled by one monopoly. Competitor analysis and benchmarking success factors. So you have to choose a few competitors and create a competitor analysis grid, which is this graph. You can find this in your textbook as figure 3.1. And this is what an analysis competitor grid looks like. So communication, like how are they engaging their audience and getting interactivity? Are they using groups, pages, or forums? Branding. Let's go with Apple. We are Apple. We're really great technology organization, and we want to know about our competitors, Google and Samsung, based on the phone industry. So, how is Samsung engaging with their audiences, and are they doing it through a group or a page? How is Samsung looking at their taglines, brand look, feel, message, and tone? What is their proposition? So, as an Apple consultant, I would go through all of these factors and look and see how Samsung and Google are competing against us, aka Apple. The best way to carry out research is by looking at the motivation from a customer avatar, which we talked about in chapter 1 and 2, and start a customer journey from that particular persona. So we talked a lot about the customer journey map and the stages in a customer journey in chapter 2. So what they're saying in this particular slide is to look at that map and say, again, in the Apple situation, like how are we converting the strangers into a promoter? What steps they need to go along with? And how are our competitors doing that in that particular persona as well? So, understanding where competitors fall in the journey and rank for the persona's options is very vital. And as an Apple digital marketer, they would have to be honest and unbiased in this process. So when they're entering Verizon or AT&T trying to get the newest phone, are they getting the new Apple phone, or are they getting the new Galaxy or the Galaxy Note? Like, where are they falling? And how can you convert and attract the strangers into purchasing the phone, and then not only purchasing it, but being brand loyal and staying a promoter? The digital marketers would need to consider the company's tone, brand messages, proposition, and customer experience feels. This is not only for the company itself, but for their competitive companies as well. So, how is Apple and Samsung different in their tone? How are they different in their brand, their messages? I think Samsung does a really good job at deteriorating the Apple look. They back in 2016 and 17, they did a commercial based on like what their phones did and how Apple couldn't. And they were actually doing it like in an Apple store lookalike. So that's something that Apple can look at and say like, okay, like, well, we're not going to go that route, or maybe we should. So proposition and then consumer experience feel. I think as an Apple user myself, I really like the status that it can give somebody, because the phones are very expensive. I always get my hand-me-downs from my brother. He always gets the newest Apple phone, and then I always beg him for his old one. So I always get a free phone a year after it's been put out. Key questions to consider for analysis and benchmarking against competitors. So you need to know the answers to these questions. It's important to look at the channels. So how do they appear within social networks, and how do they communicate with their audience? You need to know that. You need to figure out, okay, again, using Apple, as in we're Apple digital marketers, and then we're competing against Samsung. How does Samsung look at their social networks, and how are they communicating with their audience? So do they have a particular look or image? Are they asking for user engagement? What are they doing? Is their email and content marketing tailored to a specific customer journey? So is Samsung using their email and content based on getting strangers to promoters too? Or are they doing it step by step? So that's something else you would have to consider. Do they have a good presence in search engines? So this is really important. If you are a consumer and you have no idea what kind of phone you want, you may type in best cell phone 2020 on Google or Bing or something, and the top cell phones will come up. And it can also bring up the actual company website or landing page. So how you are ranking on the search engines is very important, and the higher you are, the more credibility you're going to get online and from the person that's looking into buying a new cell phone. Are they using an industry report or themes to position the need for their product or service? So is Samsung using like this industry report, like maybe how much 5G, because that's the new one, how much 5G their cell phones can get over an Apple product? Do they use a lower value product or service to recruit customers? In Samsung's case, they do. So Apple would have to go in and look and say, okay, like their product is substantially cost less than our Apple products do. So how can we recruit customers based on how good of a product we have? That's their competitive advantage, which you should have talked about in all the marketing classes you've ever been in thus far. How do they position themselves as a unique versus their competitors? So in this position, Apple would have to, again, look at their competitive advantage. In my personal opinion, I think Apple's software is a lot easier and user-friendly to conduct than Samsung's. I've had both phones. I used to get the Galaxies when they came out, and I'm not really that good with technology. I'm good at using it, but like something always happens and I tend to slow it down. And Apple has been really good about not getting viruses on my computer or my phone, and not getting crashed as easily. So for me, the unique selling feature for Apple was just having like this really awesome security and a user-friendly facility to go through the phone or computer. Is there anything particular or memorable when evaluating their brand and consumer awareness? So this would be something good to know if you had or like a review about Apple and Samsung and comparing like their brand and like how aware their consumers are. So this would also be something that they could be emailing out and saying like a third party email, different consumers that have both phones or have used both phones and like just took a survey and understood where they're coming from. Okay, so there are some tools that are very helpful. Your author talks about is SpyFew. They identify your competitors' keywords and ads for paid and organic searches. This is so helpful. If you end up deciding that you love digital marketing, I would highly suggest looking at SpyFew just to get an idea about how your competitors are ranking. Owlletter.com, they capture stores and analysis for your competitors' emails. So they're looking at your competitors' emails and basically ranking them. It's pretty awesome, and they can also show you what they're doing versus what you're doing. And then rivalack.com. They are a free tool to see how your social media profiles, metrics, hashtags, and content measure against the thousands of social profiles in your industry. So on this one, it's not only looking at the competitors you're thinking of, but it's looking at every industry profile that you consider to be a part of. So that's actually really helpful when you're looking on like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, VSCO, LinkedIn, just like making yours different than the rest. Detailed competitor research. So throughout a digital marketer's research, the marketer needs to try and nail down answers to the following questions. In a communication standpoint, how are they engaging their audience and getting interactivity? Are they using groups, pages, or forums? Branding, what is their tag, look and feel, messaging and tone? Proposition, how are they offering to solve their customers' pain and problems? Strategy, what is their strategy business model? What is their key objective? What tactics are they using? Content, how are they using content to attract, nurture, convert, and get repeat customers? Are they using videos, blogs, white papers, case studies, posts, or articles? Channels, what are they promoting in their business and where are they generating leads from? And then USP, what is their unique selling point? Advertising, where are they advertising and what is their traffic and spend for this channel? When I say spend, that means like how much money are they spending promoting themselves on a specific channel. It could be a social network or it could be a search engine. Social, what networks are they using and how big is their reach and engagement? Email, how are they marketing to their customers through different stages of the sales cycle? Search, how do they rank for keywords? Where are they driving traffic to, such as blogs, web pages, or landing pages? Campaigns, who are they targeting and what are their key messaging and calls to action? The campaign is really important. Every campaign and honestly every landing page needs to have a call to action. And when I say landing page, if you have been keeping up with the Hannah's Digital Marketing Place, you kind of already know what a landing page is. But a landing page is a website's page that you directly land on after clicking like on a social media post or an advertisement or a search engine link. It is not the home page, it's the page you directly land on based on what you're searching for. The 13th competitor detailed research you need to ask are the events. What events are they hosting, sponsoring, or exhibiting at? Are they events or conferences? And are they online or in-person events, or are they both? So these are all 13 questions that you need to ask yourself for your organization and how your competitor is measuring up. So based a very detailed research component, and then you can use this in your digital marketing plan and your marketing plan in the future. Okay, so that's the chapter. In summary, we looked at measurement factors against competitors, how to benchmark and create a competitor analysis, what are the key questions digital marketers need to know about their organization's competitors, which online tools are specific for analyzing a competitor, and how you conduct research on competitors, what type of questions you're asking, and what answers you need to know. So if you have any questions at all about this chapter, please feel free to reach out to me via email, and I'd be happy to set up a Zoom meeting with you, and I can always provide you more examples if you're confused. If you are fine, then I will talk to you all very soon.